DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hi there and welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson. I'm sure glad you joined us. We're going to have a great show today. A friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Casey Olson, is going to join me. We're going to talk about feeding cows through the wintertime. Stay tuned.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America, a place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
This segment brought to you by the new Hired Hand Portable Cow Sprayer. For more information, visit cowsprayer.com.
Hi there and welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine. I'm joined today by Dr. Casey Olson, who is a ruminant nutritionist over in the Animal Science and Industries Department, and he's a professor here at Kansas State University. And thanks for coming.
Oh, you bet, Dan. Always a pleasure.
It's great to have you on the show. It's always a topic that's something that we're interested in and something that really hits the bottom line of the producers. And today, with the drought and different things, there's probably nothing much more important to a lot of cattlemen than how we're going to get these cows fed through the winter.
I'd agree. I mean, even in the best of winters, the time between the first of the year and roughly the 1st of May is where we spend 90% of our nutrition dollar. And in this year, going into a winter where we're short with forage following a drought that many have called the worst drought in 500 years here in the Flint Hills, we're up against the wall.
Well, I've been out driving countryside and just seeing some of these pastures look like the top of this countertop, and you just wonder, how are we going to, get through this? What are some of the things that go through your mind?
Well, the first thing I think of when I see one of those pool table pastures is that most of the producers, unfortunately, are thinking about stocking grazable forages for a 6 to 7 month grazing season only. And then they're relying on harvested forages to get them through the winter. It's a fact, folks, that those harvested forages carry a significant price tag, and it's very difficult to get a high input, low capital return kind of business like a cow-calf enterprise to cash flow efficiently when harvested forages have to be relied on for half of the year.
So if you're buying it and hauling it in, really increase our costs.
Yeah, it's sort of like beef cow welfare. That cow was designed to harvest her own feed. She's designed to graze, and when we take her out of that grazing environment, we confine her for a period of time, we set ourselves up for a pretty big feed bill.
Yeah, when we talk about it in welfare, we're talking about the ability to exhibit normal behavior. Well,
that's a good way to put it. I never thought of it that way, but that makes a lot of sense, Doc.
So what are, when we're heading into this winter time, what are some of the things give me the first thing that pops in your mind and you're going to look at in operation to design the program? Do
you mind if we talk about this year specifically? Where we are droughty and we're short of forage?
I'd be glad to. We're going to have to go to the break here in about a little bit, but how would we get started to go ahead into the break? What are we going to come back with?
When we come back, folks, I'd like to talk to you about how we've managed this drought and how we're going to manage our winter feeding scenario at the K-State Cow-Calf Unit.
Well, again, great to have you on the show. We're going to discuss feeding the cows here in the wintertime. We're going to talk about how Dr. Olson and his crew do it and handle it. And there's what you said, the wrong way and the right way, or the expensive way and the affordable way.
That's right.
Appreciate y'all joining us on the show. We'll be right back after the break.
This Meet the Future Veterinarian is brought to you by Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Lee Michaels is a student at the University of Minnesota College of Veterinary Medicine. He recently received the Merck Animal Health Student Recognition Award. Raised on a dairy in Wisconsin, Lee developed a passion for dairy production, and at school he spent much of his time working with the Production Animal Medicine Club. Upon graduation, he hopes to practice in a rural Midwest community.
Some call it a come-from-behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher. Get the new hired hand for yourself or become a distributor. Visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
Calves require adequate, high-quality colostrum immediately following birth to receive the immune and nutritional support needed to fight diseases and thrive. Next-generation Colostrix colostrum replacer and supplement are USDA licensed to aid in the treatment of failure of passive transfer and contain natural maternal bovine colostrum antibodies against E. coli K99. Ask your animal health supplier for Colostrix or visit agrilabs.com for details. Colostrix makes all systems go.
Hi there and welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, joined by Dr. Casey Olson. We're both from Kansas State University, and we're talking about drought management or winter feed management. And y'all have a program that you use here when you manage the cow herd outside of Manhattan.
That's a fact. We have a cow herd here that's for teaching and research, and in order to justify the existence of that cow herd, it has to cash flow. And we're very cognizant of the money that we put into that cow herd every year, and we're a little bit peculiar in as much as we run to about 80% rented land. It means we have to put high emphasis on landowner relations, and we have to take good care of those pastures that we lease.
You bet.
Now, we have a written drought management plan that we abide by, just like the Ten Commandments. It's based on accumulated rainfall at several critical calendar dates during the year. It's also based on forage growth on those critical calendar dates. Now, when we don't meet either one of those targets for a given date, we don't have enough rain, we don't have enough forage, we know that we have to start adjusting our stocking rate downward. Now, the whole goal of doing this, folks, is to make sure that we have enough winter grass to get us through until green up in the spring. Now, we've had to make some significant cuts in stocking rate over the last 4 months. Some of the things that we did, we weaned early, about August 15th. We got rid of some yearling heifers to bring our stocking rate down, and then we started to cut into that mature cow herd a little bit. Our inventory is down by about 60 mature cows as a result of this drought. But having that written plan and having a marketing plan attached to each one of those stocking rate reductions, we got through it in pretty decent financial shape. And we're left with enough grass now to accommodate our winter feeding program.
It's awesome stuff. So basically, throughout the year, you're taking moisture analysis of how much moisture is hitting these pastures, what that's going to contribute to growth within the pastures. And then from there, I think the strategy thing is something that really hit home with me. You know, the weaning early, looking at the mature cows, and making some. You can't just keep borrowing.
No, you can't. And the one person or the one entity you really can't borrow from is Mother Nature. If you misuse your natural resources, folks, it's going to bite you. That's a simple fact of resource management.
May have to tell that to some of our legislators.
Oh, where are you going with this, Doc?
Anyway, it's when we you know, some of the things that, what happens when we get behind the 8 ball? I mean, it may be something that'll take us into the next break, but, you know, sometimes we don't want to sell the cows, and we don't have the grass.
The only option really at that point for reduction of grazing pressure is destocking and feeding. And folks, that's probably the most expensive drought management mitigation strategy that there is. But the one thing it will do is buy you time to kind of think through the situation and discuss your options. Many folks, for example, right now are using silage for the very first time because failed corn crops, failed sorghum crops are finding their way into silage pits right now.
Cool. After the break, we're going to discuss more about winter feeding management with Dr. Olson.
The BQA Tip of the Day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica, Inc.
I'm Dr. Kip Lukasevich with Production Animal Consultation. Today's BQA Tip of the Day is bud box facilities. We're at a feed yard today that has a bud box. It's becoming more and more popular. The advantage of the bud box is that it's a facility that has open sides. Has one solid side, which is the gate, which they come in through. But it takes advantage of cattle's natural behavior in that cattle like to see what's pressuring them, and they like to return where they came from. And so the way our alley is set up is so that the cattle come into the box first, and they make a turn, and they come back around, and then they go right down into the double feed alley, and they go straight, which cattle prefer. The advantage of the bud box is that if we have one that is giving us problems going into the alley, and sometimes that happens, we have a gate here that we can swing and bring around to narrow that up and have him go in. And if we have one that is kind of ornery and doesn't want to cooperate with us that way, we can at least easily come through here and come through the gate and work from the outside. And if we need to, we can have a flag or something that we can utilize to work from the outside and have the cattle come in as well. Both ways work really well, and that's how you stay safe working in a bud box.
It must be an inherited trait because I have never wanted to do anything other than be in the cattle business. And it's interesting as I have grandchildren now, little bitty ones. All they want to do is go to the barn, swing a rope, and be a cowboy. It's something. It's a lifestyle that we have, the way we make a living, obviously. But it's really more than that. It gives us the opportunity as a family to be able to work together and enjoy each other's company and make a living at the same time. We've been using Triangle for years, and the reason we do it's been safe and effective, and we're going to continue to do that. We'll put the cows in the chute twice a year, spring and fall. 100% of our cattle get vaccinated with Triangle.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Norfenicol, florfenicol, is an excellent first-choice broad-spectrum antibiotic for the treatment and control of BRD and the treatment of foot rot. It offers a shorter sub-Q withdrawal time and is more syringeable than other florfenicol cattle antibiotics on the market. Norfenicol also addresses the issue of breakage with their new plastic bottles. Observe label directions and withdrawal times. See product labeling for full product information, including warnings and precautions. Fight the most common and costly disease affecting the beef cattle industry with Norfenicol from Norbrook. Broadband has become as important to us as highways. That is why DocTalk is teaming up with NTCA, the Rural Broadband Association, and rural broadband companies like Blue Valley Telecommunications in fighting for quality broadband access through the program Smart Rural Communities.
I don't think we have any idea what's coming in the future. I couldn't have imagined 5 years ago what we're doing today. So in 2 years, I would guess there's things we can't imagine that we're going to be doing.
To learn more, visit ntca.org/smart or bluevalley.net. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
True Test Group, weighing systems, electronic identification EID, electric fencing, and dairy automation systems help farmers and ranchers around the world manage the performance of their livestock for ultimate profitability.
Welcome back to Doc Talk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, joined by Dr. Casey Olson. And Dr. Olson is a ruminant nutritionist over in the Department of Animal Science here at Kansas State University. And he's a professor. But one of the things that you do that hit home with me in the previous segment is that you not only manage our teaching and research cow herd, commercial cow herd, but you have to manage it as if you were an outside operation. I mean, you're balancing a budget and paying the bills.
That's true. I mean, it's very difficult to justify to a taxpayer that we get to have a cow herd just to play with and enjoy.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
It's our responsibility to make that cow herd profitable.
You bet. And I think that's what makes your research so relevant and different from most. And
That's flattering.
And it's awesome. And so let's talk about how you go about feeding these cows through the winter.
Sure.
Cow supplementation and things of that nature.
Well, as I've said before, our winter feeding program is always based on dormant native range here in the Flint Hills of Kansas. In most years, not including this one, forage is typically very abundant but of very low quality. Just as an example, TDN value is usually in the low 40s, and protein value is usually below 5% crude protein. Now, the beef cow is our primary marketing vehicle in the United States for low quality forages. Just because forage quality is bad doesn't mean that we can't use it.
Right.
Research that was done when I was a graduate student here at K-State, and even before that, looked at, can we supply nutrients in concentrated small amounts to the rumen that will enable a beef cow to use that low quality forage effectively? My predecessor, Dr. Bob Cochran, who is one of the greatest ruminant nutritionists of all time, right. He figured out through a wonderful series of studies that if we can deliver to a beef cow an average of about 1 pound of crude protein per day, that we can triple her intake of that low quality forage and we can double its energetic value. And it's really a trick of ruminal physiology. Okay, the rumen is short on nitrogen, we supply a little bit of nitrogen, and that enables the ruminal microbes to tear down that forage and make a good diet out of it.
So you're putting the bugs to work. You're gonna use what the good Lord in Detroit designed these animals to do.
And coincidentally, folks, it happens to be a very cost-effective winter nutrition program. We're getting the most out of our leased pastures. We are converting a forage resource of modest utility into something that's good enough to actually accrue body condition on a beef cow through the winter.
And probably the most important thing is it allows us to stay in business.
It does.
When you start thinking about the cost savings, what are some of the higher end supplement protein programs running some people?
Well, there are a lot of supplements out there that carry a very high price tag per unit of protein purchased. A lot of self-fed supplements would fit into this category. When we return from the breakdown, I think we can maybe talk about delivery strategies for supplemental protein, ways to make that even less expensive for a commercial operator.
Cool. Appreciate y'all joining us on the show. We'll be right back after the break.
Calves require adequate, high-quality colostrum immediately following birth to receive the immune and nutritional support needed to fight diseases and thrive. Next-generation Colostrix colostrum replacer and supplement are USDA licensed to aid in the treatment of failure of passive transfer and contain natural maternal bovine colostrum antibodies against E. coli K99. Ask your animal health supplier for Colostrix or visit agrilabs.com for details. Colostrix makes all systems go.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Beef producers asked for it, and the wait is over. Enroflox 100 Enrofloxacin from Norbrook, now approved for single-dose treatment and control of bovine respiratory disease, with the same active ingredient and dosing regimen as Baytril 100 in beef and non-lactating dairy cattle. Choose Enroflox 100 when looking for an injectable antimicrobial solution to treat and control BRD. Observe label directions and withdrawal times. See product labeling for full product information, including warnings and precautions. Consult your veterinarian to see if Enroflox 100 is right for your cattle.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher. Get the new hired hand for yourself or become a distributor. Visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Casey Olson. We're talking about winter cow nutrition programs. And Casey, you want to talk to us about supplementation strategy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, in the previous segment, I mentioned that our magic formula here in the Flint Hills is to deliver an average of about 1 pound of crude protein to a cow per day during the winter, and that enables her to effectively use our low-quality native forage. There are some tricks to make that even more effective. First off, the rumen does not require daily delivery of protein to be fully functional. We've discovered over time, again, through previous research here at Kansas State, that we can deliver protein on an alternate day basis, on a 3-day per week basis, or even a 2-day per week basis,
wow,
as long as we hit an average of 1 pound of protein per day. And when you talk about cutting the number of trips down to the pasture to feed cows by half, you're really talking about significant savings in terms of equipment wear and tear, fuel, and man hours.
Oh, so which ones of these is probably the most common supplementation delivery time?
Well, what we like at the cow-calf unit at Kansas State is a delivery interval of between Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Monday and Thursday, depending on the group of cows and depending on their requirements, and also depending a little bit on the nature of the supplement. Now, that protein source that you choose, folks, should be chiefly ruminally degradable. There are 2 types of protein, really, that we feed to beef cows. One form is ruminally degradable. The other is degradable in the small intestine. It's important. Bypass protein.
Yep.
It's important to choose a source that has a rich component of ruminal degradability. Now, in this particular feed market, where all protein sources are very expensive, I mean, when producers are out there merchandising their ingredients, when they're considering a purchase, I encourage them to put those potential purchases on a dry matter basis, to remove water from the equation, and also to figure out then on a dry matter basis what your purchase price is per pound of protein in that ton of feed or that truckload of feed. That is your path to least costing your protein supplement.
Well, I think it's some of the best information. One of the most relevant shows. We talked about nitrates this year and that, but we still have to feed these cows.
We do. The nice thing about grazing through the winter, folks, on a native forage source or a perennial forage source is that nitrates are generally not a worry. Now, for those of you out there that might be considering using a corn derivative as a winter forage source, be aware of those nitrates and beware of prussic acid. Test your forages, folks. Don't make a mistake that will cause you regret.
Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome, Dan. It's always a pleasure.
Dr. Casey Olson, Dr. Dan Thomson, and thank you for watching DocTalk. Remember, we always recommend that you work with your local veterinarian and your local nutritionist. And if you want to learn more about what we do at Kansas State University or at the College of Veterinary Medicine, you can find us on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson from DocTalk. We sure enjoyed you watching the show today, and I'll see you down the road. Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
For more information about this program or previous programs, go to DocTalkTV.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.